Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our live landing page audit webinar series. This is our first one. We're super excited for everybody to be here, so thank you for joining us. We have a great presentation today, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. Wanted to kick it off with a poll today. So if you want to go ahead and let us know if you are looking to see if your landing page needed improvement, we're going to have a live poll going on right here. Looks like an overwhelming yes so far. Some of you think your landing pages are rocking, so we'll be excited to see what people have on the call. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here. Display the results. 83% said yes, so let's hope that everybody gets a little bit of takeaway from this call today. We're excited. For the call, we have two really influential speakers, Erin Sagin from WordStream and Ryan Urban from BounceExchange. Ryan Urban is the CEO and co-founder. He loves landing pages, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. And Erin is our customer success manager. She is just a whirlwind of knowledge and will bring a lot to the table today. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So ready, set, go. I'm going to give it over to Ryan.
Hey guys. So you said I love landing pages. I actually just love to hate on landing pages. So I want to get a little correction there. So we got a ton of submissions for this, and we picked out a few interesting ones. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's go. I'm going to share Chrome. All right. And you can see my screen. I have Aerotech on. Everyone good? Cool. So Aerotech, pretty big company. We see in LinkedIn they have like 15,000 employees. And this was a submitted page, a landing page. But first I thought I was confused, like, oh, maybe they made a mistake. Is this because this is looks like an informal page. No, this is really a landing page. And I have a big screen. I have a 24-inch monitor. I think it's 1980 wide. So so this is the page I see. Other people would see it much smaller if you're, God forbid, you're on a laptop. So this is really a landing page, and there is objectives here. It's just not really clear at all. So down here you see there's a few things: create account, browse jobs. I really had to read this whole page and really try to figure out what they were offering and what the main call to action was. So this page just in general, this is like a 2 out of 10 at best. None of it really makes any sense at all. So Aerotech in this case, it looks like the goal of the page is they want to connect you with one of their account finance insiders. So this is people who are looking for either actively looking or passively looking, people who are looking for their next job. So you can see by the page, it's not really clear. The headline, you need an inside connection, that offers no value. It's not a benefit. It's not a persuasive benefit. That stock image doesn't make any sense. You know, we talk about using humans and the downside of doing that, because if you don't relate to that person, if say you're a different gender and you're older, that's not going to relate to you, and that's going to lower your response rate. So the main headline doesn't make any sense at all. And now here, why Stephen James Associates? I don't really know what this is either. So this is just a whole bunch of, looks like an old SEO page from like the 2000s trying to rank for something. Certainly not a landing page. And then once you start getting to the call to actions here on the left side, the first thing they tell you is like, oh, well, don't contact us. What if you're not actively looking? Just create an account without any benefits. So the call to action on the left, the most critical one, which is also below the fold, it's like, no, don't browse our jobs. Don't get connected, right? And you would actually think this thing right here is a link, get connected with our account finance insiders. It's not, right? So that seems to me to be the differentiator. That because when you're looking for a job search, you can just kind of go to Indeed or LinkedIn or wherever you're going to look. You could also work with a recruiter, which is not always the best experience. So if you're looking for a niche role and being an accountant or a financial analyst, you want to work with someone who's very specialized in this field, and you want to work with someone who understands you and understands the job you're in and why you're looking for a new job. So you really have to address all the things of why someone would want to move. Is it they want a better career path? They want to make more money. Making more money is going to be common. They're really not happy with the red tape at the organization. Maybe they're too big of a company. Maybe they want to go to a smaller company. They want to have more influence. They want to be able to do more stuff. They just feel limited. And I would probably make the two main call to actions. One about like browsing different job openings, because in the job openings area, that could create additional call to actions to create an account. This area is also kind of it's pretty rough when you get here. I start seeing results in Washington, Oregon. I mean, I'm in New York City, so this already doesn't make any sense for me at all. I have no plans of moving to Oregon. I don't. I have no plans of moving to Arkansas. So the first question, as soon as I get to this page, it should ask me, like, what's my zip code? So that's a common thing. If you look at some of the better performing landing pages, you'll see in the car insurance industry, car insurance is probably the most expensive keyword terms as a cluster, as a group. You see their ads all the time. You see them everywhere. On the internet, sometimes the cost per click could be over $100 for car insurance related terms. And they drive people to a landing page that just asks for their zip code. That's it. So you want to get people started. But on this page, one call to action would just be get connected to an insider. So have someone do an assessment. Have someone do a better job assessment. So do you want to take a free better job assessment? Something like that. And whatever, I would test different language around that as the headline. I mean, I would kill all this stuff. I mean, I would just get rid of all this text on the page. And one thing I'd also like to know is what's people's mindsets getting here. So if it's a landing page, I can see the URL is landing.aerotech. So it looks to be that could be driven, paid search traffic could be driven here. Now, is it people looking for accounting jobs? What are people specifically looking for? Because they're covering a lot of things here. They're covering analyst stuff, financial analyst. If I'm looking for an analyst job, then this stuff needs to relate to me. You really need to have a different page for almost every sort of job title, because financial analyst and accountant are two very, very different jobs. And a senior analyst and an associate analyst are very different jobs as well. So I would create a landing page template that would have a whole bunch of form fields and just minimal stuff. People ask for too many fields. Whatever you need for someone in your sales team to contact them, and something to get into a marketing automation series. I would just ask for their name. I would ask for their email, and I would ask for the phone number. I'd probably make phone number an optional field. That's it. So I would ask for 3 fields above the fold here. I'd get rid of all the humans. I'd have a very compelling headline that would benefit a senior accountant, a senior financial analyst, an associate level role, maybe controllers. So I would have a different headline that benefits everyone there. And I would address some of the pain points of why they're even searching for this in the first place and connect to people. And something else I really like to do is, so say I'm looking for a financial analyst job. Go see what everyone else is doing and see what makes sense. So if I search this, I'm going to get a whole bunch of other paid results. So here's another paid result. Here's another paid result. If someone's clicking on your paid search link, they're not just clicking on yours. They're probably clicking on average 4 or 5 others, especially if you're not the first one. If you're, say, like 2, 3 or on the edge, expect that people are clicking on 4 or 5 other links. So that's really important to consider. A lot of people think that everyone's going to read all their text, that their site is what they're looking at. People have a million tabs open these days. Go look at everyone's computer. They're probably using Chrome. They probably have 20 tabs open. And when you're looking at paid search, only 15 to 20% of people in general click on paid search links, which is a mistake because you should. Paid search oftentimes gives you much better results than organic because those people, they're paying for it. But you should look at what other people are doing too. So other people looking, say if I was searching for a financial analyst job, here's what someone else is doing. It doesn't really make sense. It's a medical care site, right? And they dedicated this whole big nav menu, and some reason they want me to Google +1 their financial job instead of instead of looking at roles, which I can't click on. So I'm not really worried about this page. This page is pretty bad. This is the number 1 result. The number 2 result, this looks a little better, but this is giving me jobs in San Francisco. At least a cleaner page. It tells me how many jobs I have. So this is a little better. It brings you right into a search result. I would probably go back and give people the option. I would have one button that gives people the ability to enter their zip code to see jobs around them or browse jobs. But the main thing would be set me up with a financial analyst insider, with someone who can reach out to me, have human contact, and set me up with a job. So that's what I'm guessing the Stephen James Associates is. They probably are a high-end recruiter for these very niche roles. So they need to speak to you on the phone, or at least send you an email, an automated email series to ultimately get you on the phone and go over why they're different than other recruiters and why you should consider using a recruiter and why that's better for you, or why you should use Stephen James Associates, which is part of Aerotech, which is a big company. So that's my feedback on this page. What about you guys? WordStream.
Yeah, so that was great. And Brian, I think that you had one other page, right, that you were going to cover next.
All right, you want me to go to the next one?
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
I think Erin has her own pages she's going to show and tell.
Oh, okay, cool. So curvature. All right, on the surface, especially compared to the last page, this looks like a much better page. But it really, you don't want to compare to the last page, because that's probably as bad as you can get, and especially from a really big company. So here's a company. The headline, the logo looks nice. Look, this looks like a modern thing. They have call to actions to call up, which is something you definitely want to get people to call here. So I have a whole bunch of issues with this page. So and we just moved into a new office, and we just had to spend a ton of networking equipment. Of course, we're using Cisco equipment. So we just went through this process. Oh, this is requesting a free quote, not for regular Cisco equipment. It's for used Cisco equipment, right? And here they're offering cash or credit for your used equipment. This looks like this is a page for people who are looking to buy Cisco equipment. So it seems the mindset of this traffic is, I'm guessing I could see it's a global curvature page, so that means it's a landing page here. I like that there isn't all this extraneous navigation. That's kind of nice. But this is a landing page for used Cisco equipment. So these are people probably searching on Google for used Cisco equipment. Well, it could be. They might be searching for just Cisco equipment or specific Cisco model numbers. So if I'm looking for the 2900 series, I might be landing on this page. So if I was searching for just Cisco equipment, now I would make a different landing page for people searching for Cisco equipment versus people searching specifically for used Cisco equipment. Because if you're searching for regular Cisco equipment, now if you're selling used, which I wouldn't use the word used, pre-owned is good, but they use used here a lot. I would use the word certified pre-owned if they're certifying it, if they're testing it, which they are. And a lot of times certified pre-owned stuff has a lower fail rate than new equipment, because new equipment sometimes has 1 to 3% fail rate. If it's certified pre-owned, it could be close to 100% working properly if the inspection is right. So a lot of times certified pre-owned is better than new. But if someone was coming here and searching for new stuff, you'd have to address a lot of objections. So that would be a completely different page. So I'm not going to focus on that here. I'm going to look at, I'm going to assume that people are looking for pre-owned Cisco equipment or used Cisco equipment. They want to save a lot of money. Now, they're likely searching here. They're searching on Google. They're searching Amazon. They're searching a few different places. So now I think what you should be doing is really differentiating yourself between other places that have used Cisco equipment. So the first thing is this imagery. This imagery is really bad. So, well, the stock imagery here, which who cares about a circuit board? This headline doesn't really do anything for me. It on the surface, it's like, oh, save up 90% off Cisco list prices. That's not really that bad. But when you're comparing your equipment to other pre-owned Cisco providers, like people are going to do an RFP and maybe compare 2 to 5 other providers. So how are you different from these other providers? So it's next day delivery. Maybe you can do it on credit, right? Maybe you have a better certification process. So where are you getting the equipment from? There's a lot of important things that they're missing here. So this picture is terrible. This is an awful picture. This looks like a garage sale. Would you install this on your racks? Would you pay thousands of dollars for this equipment? No. Like, this picture's a little better. Like, I see a warehouse here. It's not branded. This could be a stock image of a warehouse. And it looks in a warehouse that like things have boxes and stuff like that. So when something is certified pre-owned, it's usually packaged really nicely. So why don't they show a picture of how they package it really nicely? Why don't they have an explainer video, because no one else, if you search used Cisco equipment or pre-owned Cisco equipment, have an explainer video that shows some live action shots, has the founder of the company, and say, look, here's why we started this company. We started this company because we had to build out a server, we had to build out our own network, and it was going to cost us like $300,000-$400,000 just in equipment, and that didn't really make sense to us. So we wanted to save money, but then we started looking at used equipment, and it looked like it was coming from a garage sale. Like, that's what I would say in the video, and say, look, this is how we do it differently. So this is where we get our equipment from. We get our equipment from this place and this place, so these kind of sources. And here's our testing process. Let's walk through our 9-point testing process right here. And I would show that. And this is how we repackage it. And this is what it looks like. And then all these things are in stock. Is the things in stock or not? Because you want to know, are you getting it from someone who has it, or is someone just kind of outsourcing this too? Is it ISO certified, TL certified? These are important things to Cisco buyers. This is all the stuff is kind of below the fold. Here, phone number is pretty important. They make country required fields, and they separate first and last name and company, but phone number not, returning customer not. Like, it's really simple. Name, email, phone number. That's it. So here, I probably would have phone number as a required field and get back to people within not 24 hours, within 5 minutes, because this is very competitive. You want to have really good service. I'd have a lot of different calls to action for the phone number. A lot of times you see the phone number at the top of the site. For something like this, if you have a responsive team, you should have phone number call to actions everywhere. Here, 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 over here. When I scroll down below the fold, I would have other call to actions too for getting a free quote and calling up. So, and even getting the free quote, I don't know if that's the right thing, because like you don't just need like one piece of equipment. You need a lot of different equipment. So you're going to speak to a specialist. It has to be a little more specific than just getting a free quote. So I think this page doesn't look bad on the surface. I think their logo is much better designed than the page itself, but there's a lot of missing elements here. But the key thing is, think about the behavioral mindset of the visitor. So if someone is searching for pre-owned or used Cisco equipment, trying to save money, then make the page relate to that, and you want to compare yourself to other places where they can get used Cisco equipment. And price is not always going to be the biggest thing. If it's in stock, it's certified, it's going to be better quality. If you're going to hand deliver it, so I see next day delivery worldwide. If you're able to deliver it, is it by UPS or is it with a freight provider? Because this equipment's very sensitive. So you got to address a lot of the objections of why you're better than all these other places. And we'll go to our last one here. Cool. This is Parental Drug Association. So this is another pretty big company, right? And again, this doesn't really look like a landing page. So you can see this is just hosted in the same navigation as the website. So that's a big mistake, having all this stuff up here. So you definitely want to have it as a separate landing page, clean of all navigation, any distractions, and that should be easy to make a template that doesn't have these things, or simply use something like a different third party. I know WordStream has some stuff, also Unbiased and Lead Pages. So there's a lot of very cheap landing page solutions out there that will have very, very clean formats. So right here, the formatting is a little off. But well, not a little off. It's super off. But I don't like to talk about formatting. I like to talk about the behavior of people on the page, the mindset going in. So let's kind of focus on that. And when I see PDA means a lot of things. So I wouldn't use an acronym. So it could be Bomb Pilot, Public Display of Affection. So let's just actually say what this thing is. So what's the whole point? What do they want people to do? I guess you have to, let's see, go somewhere really far down the thing to register. It's almost impossible actually. Registration's like up here. So they want someone to register for this workshop, right? And it costs a lot of money. So this is not something that's a free workshop. So when you get to the page, you're like, oh, this might be something that's really, really simple. It's not. So this This is something that's really expensive, and this doesn't look at all like any other kind of workshop page or trade show event that I would use. I'm a big anti-fan of tabs because that requires a lot of work and clicks. So the most important thing is people do want to see the agenda, and the agenda you could do two things with the agenda. You can make it really clear, and so you talk about the conference very shortly above the fold, and people aren't adding these events to the calendars. You add an event to the calendar after you sign up, and you don't need people tweeting or sharing. Like, you have all these call to actions here where there's not enough call to action for the registration and agenda. What I recommend is you actually gate the agenda. So by gating the agenda, you just get someone's name, email, and phone number, and they put in their name, email, phone number, and then you'll give them the agenda for the event. Because the odds of someone signing up right now are slim. Because usually people don't sign up themselves. They need to go with a few other people in their company, and they need either marketing or sales or someone to approve this and pay for it. It's not going to their company credit card, especially when it's pretty expensive here. And it could be if you're a non-member. You're looking at with travel. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So I would gate that agenda. That's what I would do. I would say click to see the agenda, and then I would have, when someone clicks to see it, I'd have an overlay come up and says, hey, where should we send you the agenda? So I'd ask for their name, email, phone number. And then once you get their email and phone number, you put them into like a 7-part series about the conference. So you start talking about the agenda again, and you talk about the venue and the speakers and the lineup, and maybe you get videos of what happened last year, what they missed last year. So there's not a lot of fear of missing out here. So I would do a lot of stuff like that, and of course have a lot of registration links in those emails. And also, like, as soon as they submit their stuff, I would have people call them up. So that would be for your sales team to just call them up and try to get them to sign up. And try to get them to sign up for a lot. If you speak to people, if you let people sign up self-service, they might sign up for 2. You could probably convince people to sign up for 4, maybe give them a little bit of a better deal if they sign up for more. So that's what the phone is for, and having sales representatives reach out to people. So I would gate this agenda, and by gating it means I wouldn't show it. And I would have people just give some simple information, name, email, phone number, and then go from there. And maybe one other question like how many people in your department or company, so you know if they're qualified for sales or not. But overall, just some things on this page. I mean, clear out all that navigation. That's obvious. I mean, having a clear call to action button with like view the agenda or register now, making that really simple, getting rid of all these related events, getting rid of all this stuff here, and gating the agenda. That's what I would do here. So I would give people just a couple options, keep it really, really simple, not put too much information on here. And in any other section you have where you're talking about registration and fees and stuff like that, there should be call to actions everywhere to register or get the agenda. So I would do that. And there's also no phone numbers. Where's the phone number? I need a call up here. This is a lot of money. I want to speak to you. If I'm an exhibitor, exhibitors might get to this page for sponsor opportunities. I got to really dig down and get a call for a phone number. That's really hard. And any of these pages on mobile, you should have a behavioral tap to call. So meaning that after a certain period of inactivity on the mobile site, have a tap to call where people can call right then. So I think tap to call is really, really effective, especially for things like this, and even the use Cisco equipment. On all 3 of these examples, I would have tap to call. So people don't use that enough on mobile. We do that with a lot of our clients, super successful. So it's really hard to get people to convert and complete registration and do things on mobile, especially on smaller devices like iPhone 4s, non like giant phablets. So on devices that convert at a lower rate, or even if for slower connection speeds, then just put tap to call and get people right through. So yeah, that's kind of the takedown and takeaway for these 3. So now I'm going to pass it over.
Great, yeah, and that was awesome, Ryan. Totally, that last one, overwhelming, too much going on. You really have to think about the user, right? It's just such an important thing. So we thank you for that, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Erin Sagin. She's going to talk about a variety of landing pages that she has picked to slam, if you will. So let's pass it to Erin.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Erin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think we can all agree that Ryan's presentation was pretty awesome there. Just setting up to share my screen with you. I'll give it a sec to load. All right. You guys should all be able to see my Chrome now. Give it a sec there to load. All right. So when I was picking from the plethora of landing pages that everyone submitted, this was one that really caught my eye. When I saw this landing page, I was like, holy crap, this is so beautiful. I am going to have nothing to say about it. And I almost like threw it out of the running, and I was like, oh, what am I going to say about this? But then I did a little digging, and I found some really, really great things that I think a lot of people should be doing and following and emulating from this landing page. And then when I kind of peeled back the layers, I found a couple of places where it could use some improvement. So let's get started. I think the first thing that we will all notice as we look at this landing page is that it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it is aesthetically pleasing. These pictures are like, oh my God. Full disclosure, after I played around on this landing page yesterday, I bought a trip to Haiti because I was literally in this vacation mode. It was so, so pretty. So definitely visually stimulating. I think, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's kind of a cheesy saying, but it's very much true. I mean, if you can use photos that elicit emotion on your landing pages rather than those crappy stock photos that Ryan was pointing out earlier, that's going to go a long, long way. All right, so I love the pictures. I love this clean presentation. The other thing that I love is the endorsements that they've kind of put on here. So I have never heard of the Lux Nomad. I am weary of deal sites at best. I think most of them are total shams, but because this is featured in Elle and Vogue and Bazaar, publications that I trust, that I buy, that I think are totally legit, all of a sudden I kind of automatically have a little bit more faith in this particular platform. So if Elle trusts the Lux Nomad, I certainly do as well. So I would definitely encourage you guys to always use these kind of references and featured in. I think that always helps on landing pages. Whomever you can reference, go ahead and do so. So that's great. I can rave about it all day, but let's talk about some of the negatives here. So the first thing I did when I got to this landing page is I played around a little bit with the search functionality. Now, it's not terrible. In fact, let me tell you, I've seen 1,000 times worse, but there's room for improvement. So the call to action is pretty clear. They want me to pick where I'd like to go. However, when I click into this drop-down list, I have a bit of a nightmare. So first off, there's like a million places on here. And secondly, if you look at them, they're not really well divided by region, so there's not a clean hierarchy. Like, why do I need a category for Bhutan and then a link to Bhutan? Just let me pick Bhutan. The other thing, I think that would make this a lot stronger is if we pulled it into true regions. So maybe by continent or broken out into different regions, but not so many category titles with just one option below. That oftentimes is matching the title there. The other thing I always try and do when I get to these types of drop-downs is I also try and type in the word, because a lot of times, like I think about my mom, who's not too savvy, probably doesn't notice the arrow. The first thing she's going to do is type something in. So when I tried typing something in, it actually didn't search for me. And when I completed the full search here, it brought me to a page with every single category. So I'd love for it to dynamically recognize, Mexico on this list, or recognize that Mexico is not on this list and have me pick something else, kind of give me a message. Okay, so that's it for that list. The next thing I want to look at is my calendar. All right, So I'm a big fan when you give somebody an arriving and leaving dates, let them choose both dates within the same calendar, right? Like I'd love to be able to click that I'm leaving on the 19th and use the same calendar to select that I'm coming back on the 26th, rather than having to do 2 steps there. It's just a little bit of a hassle. So, property type is fine. Then I get over to search, and you see something really interesting happens here when I roll over the search. It turns gray, which is fine. I like gray. But I don't like the fact that it totally blends into the background, and I can almost barely see that the button's there. So I'd recommend just a quick shift in color just so that button stands out a little bit more, particularly when I'm hovering over it. The next thing I thought about when I was playing around with this landing page was, how responsive is it on a mobile device or even a tablet device? So it looks great on my desktop. It looks great on my laptop. What about when this page starts to get a little bit smaller? Oops. Sorry, guys. It's a little too small. Drag that up for you. Okay. So you can even see as I play around with it right now, it looks like we're kind of like to being responsive, but we're not totally there. Now the reason that I was so keen to check this out on this particular website is because think about when you're booking vacations. Probably, hopefully, not when you're in the office, not during your work day, but you're typically doing it either on your phone or at night. In fact, in the travel industry, because so many people are doing it on tablets and mobile phones, we've actually seen that like 60%, no more than 60%, almost 70% of travel marketers have a dedicated mobile site. So in order for these guys to keep up with their competitors, it's going to be really critical that they're thinking about having a mobile responsive website. So when I start to make this page a little bit smaller, you'll start to notice things get a little wonky. Like as you can see, I've totally lost my search form for a little while. Then I get it, and I can't click and do my drop down. And the calendar, let's see, if I get a little bit small, I think the calendar gets a little funky. Again, it'd be good to have just like 1 month maybe in there, keep it small, and the ability to pick both my leaving and returning dates here in the same folder. Just gets a little wonky. So that's one thing that this particular website should really start to think about is how to better optimize for mobile. And maybe that even means creating a mobile site, but I think with a little bit of work, this could be very nice and mobile responsive. Now I am a PPC person at heart, so when I looked at these landing pages, I also thought a little bit about what I'd like to see from a paid search perspective. The biggest thing when it comes to PPC is that your landing pages are highly relevant to whatever the searcher is looking for. So as you can see, this is a pretty general landing page. That's fine if we're looking at it for like SEO purposes or whatever. But from a PPC perspective, if you sent me here, I'm turning right back around. And the reason is, when it comes to paid search, you know something about your searcher. You can take that search, take what they're looking for, and give them a page that's highly catered to it that they're looking for. So for example, when I'm thinking about vacations, even if I know I want to do a deal vacation, I'm not just typing in deal vacations. I'm typing in like, affordable vacation to the Caribbean, right? I'm giving it a little bit of context because I know what I want. And if I know what I want, then I'm a highly qualified searcher that you want to capture. So if you do capture me with paid search, don't send me to this page. Send me to a page that's perfectly prepared for me. A landing page that's giving me an affordable resort in the Caribbean. that should be pretty easy for them to do, to build out these landing pages. They have all of the collateral here. They have all the information. It's just a matter of creating PPC dedicated landing pages that are specific to what that person is searching for. Another thing you want to think about is just the path to conversion. So again, if I was sending someone here, they had to fill out this search. Once they get to the page with the resort options, they have to pick a resort. Every single time you force them to make a decision and a choice, you give them the opportunity to hightail it out of there and go back to the SERP where they're going to find another one of the million travel competitors out there that have more catered landing pages with a quicker path to conversion. So don't give them a million steps to follow in terms of converting. Let them get straight there to make their purchase. Another thing that I would recommend for a site like this is setting up a remarketing campaign. When it comes to travel, unless you have unlimited vacation time and tons of money in your bank account, you're usually not making a super quick decision. There's a lot of logistics to figure out. So you got to figure out if you can take the time off work, what those dates look like, if you can afford it, how much you're willing to spend. Then you want to do a little shopping because you want to make sure you're spending the money in the best way possible, going to the best resort there is out there. So you're going to do some shopping, and it's going to be a high consideration, kind of long period to make that sale. So that's where remarketing comes into play, where you can really almost follow people around with your ads to encourage them to return to your site and to continue shopping on your site. So with a website like this, I would recommend setting up a remarketing campaign with a long membership duration. I would usually do about 3 times my average sales cycle to capture any of those kind of lagging people who are taking a little bit longer to make the decision. That way you're ensuring that you're staying top of mind for those people when they do eventually make their purchase. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're using a high or even a limited impression cap to ensure your ads are showing frequently. I know remarketing has a lot of stigma. People are reluctant to do that, reluctant to show the ads a million times. It actually works. And particularly in travel where you're showing them like a sexy image, something that they enjoy seeing, that they kind of makes them want to take the plunge and make that purchase. So if you're working in any sort of luxury business or any sort of business that requires a long decision-making process, just like the Luxe Nomad, be sure you're using remarketing and you're using it to the best of your advantage. All right, that was a mouthful. Let's go to another page. And this one is pretty much the polar opposite. So Get Soft. This is a software company, or not even a software company. They develop software. And I don't know that from looking at the landing page. It took a little bit of sleuthing for me to figure that one out. So, as you look at this, you're probably having a very similar feeling to what I had when I first looked at it. It just feels super old school and outdated. This is like a website that my dad would build. In fact, it is worse than a website that my dad would build. I mean, it just really feels like that old Space Jam's website. If anybody's ever seen that, it's like straight up 90s. So the first thing I don't like about it is the color scheme. The color scheme doesn't feel modern. It's got these kind of dull, ugly blues. It's got this huge header that takes up almost all of the space above the fold. This picture really doesn't evoke any emotion for me. I mean, I can see what their office looks like. Looks like some people bike to work, but it doesn't really give me anything about the business. So I take it all in, right, the colors and the picture, and then I start to read the copy, and things just really start to go downhill from there. So when I look at this copy, it doesn't really tell me what they do. GetSoft can develop any software applications utilizing any technology required. Well, that is very, very impressive. But it feels a little bit gimmicky. Like, you guys can build anything? I would love to see some examples, maybe even some testimonials. This could even be in the form of a video. I know it can be tough, with some of these intangibles. It's challenging to know what type of image to put up there. Like, I would probably be inclined to put an image of my office up there too, because God knows what else to put up there. One thing they could try is a video, maybe a video with their founder, talking a little bit about what they do and examples of what they offer. That might be a little bit more compelling. And then again, a couple examples here. I'd love to see them reference some of their past clients or just something to give me some frame of reference and prove to me that they're legit. Another issue as we start to scroll down is we finally make it to the form. But I've had to scroll to make it to the form, which is always a no-no. We also want to make sure the form is easily accessible. So it always needs to be top of the fold. Here we see the image is really taking up most of this kind of top of the fold, the logo up here. I would love to see the form moved up a little bit higher over here on the right-hand side. As I start to look at the form, this is all pretty standard, good stuff. Your name, your title, company, email, those all feel relevant. Of course, if any of them are not critical, I would pull them out, but I feel like those are pretty standard. My grip comes when we get down to the bottom here. So first thing I see here, message. Well, what do you want me to tell you? Like, do you want a full description of what you're looking for? Just a quick recap. God knows, I don't know what you want in my message. In fact, it's not even required, so do I need to enter a message? I'd love to see some sort of a drop down here, maybe with the most common things that people are inquiring about, so you could pick from one of those, and maybe then the option to leave a message if needed, or even just some kind of criteria for what you want to see in this message, like a question, rather than just the word message. Also, in terms of the CAPTCHA code, I hate CAPTCHA codes. They're annoying. Nobody wants to fill those out. I totally understand the need for them. However, I would wonder on a website such as this how many bot inquiries they get and how necessary this is. So if it's not necessary, definitely pull it out. You don't want to hang on to a CAPTCHA code if you don't really, really need it. All right? So those are a couple of things I would do kind of aesthetically on the landing page to change it. Again, I'll pull it together from a PPC perspective since that's really my wheelhouse. First things first, I love to see super catered landing pages again. Now this particular website does have a solutions page. I was thinking, oh man, they might have like ready to go landing pages within that solutions page. If they're advertising for solutions, they could send people directly to the solution that they're looking for. But unfortunately, on this solutions page, it's taking a little while to load here, but on this solutions page, oh, it wasn't solutions, services. They're just giving lists of the services that they've offered. I'd love to see a little bit more than that. I'd love to see pages specific to each of these services, which would make a really clean process, right? Somebody is doing a search on Google for a particular service. They're going right to a page that describes that particular service. Even if we send them here, it really wouldn't be a great fit because it's so broad and overwhelming. I want to learn about that specific service that I'm looking for. And of course, I want the contact information readily available. I want to be able to fill out my form directly from that page. So I'd love to see this company build some super catered landing pages specifically for their PPC traffic. I'd also love to see a phone number more prominent here. So one thing to think about is, when you're looking for one of these kind of super custom, high-tech offerings, it's not a lot you can find out from a website. And nobody likes to read anyway, right? So if you can give them a phone number, maybe right at the top here, something that's super, super prominent, so they can call in and speak to somebody and really find out if GetSoft can provide the service they need at a price that works well for them, that's probably the best fit. Now I know the phone number and fax number are here, but I'd love to see that phone number displayed a little bit more prominently up at the top, readily available for anyone who's coming in, particularly a qualified PPC searcher. In the interim, as this particular company is working on getting its landing pages like a little bit more honed and ready to go, there's actually a quick hack you can do to bypass the landing pages altogether. So I'm a big believer in if your landing pages aren't great, don't send people there until they're great, right? And don't pay for traffic and then send somebody somewhere where they're unlikely to convert. Because in that case, you've only paid for the traffic. I mean, sure, you can remarket to them. That's a great way to hang on to that traffic a little bit longer. But ultimately, if your landing pages aren't good, you're not going to be scoring conversions. So my last piece of advice here is to kind of bypass the landing page altogether through your PPC account or PPC advertising by enabling call extensions and call-only campaigns. So call extensions ensure that the call information is readily available to the searcher, ideally so they will call you directly without spending time making the decision on the landing page. Other thing you can do, call-only campaigns, even cooler. These are actually only available for mobile right now, but essentially they won't even provide a landing page. They will only give you click-to-call information so you can get in touch automatically. We see significantly higher conversion rates oftentimes when you are soliciting phone calls because there is a human on the other end who can play to your needs and convert you. I mean, you can almost think of it as your call center staff training is like the new landing page optimization. Because ultimately, you are teaching these people how to convert your visitors. The other thing you want to think about here is, setting up those call-only campaigns is going to be a great way to avoid the mobile landing pages. So if your mobile landing pages aren't quite up to snuff, this is a great way to bypass them. All right, so I think that about sums it up. Like I said, I think both of these sites have some great potential. They have some good elements, and there's a lot that you can do with them, but definitely some room for improvement. And I hope that a lot of you out there, even if these aren't your pages, will see some components that you'd want to implement on your end from the feedback that I've shared. So thanks so much for listening in.
Great, and thank you, Erin, for your time. That was great. I think everybody took away some actionable items there, which is awesome. So we wanted to wrap up the webinar. We do thank everybody. We had just 2 questions we were going to present to Ryan and Erin. So I'm just going to jump back with a couple of questions here. Do you recommend I eliminate all of my social media icons from my landing page? That's our first question. I know Ryan or Erin who wants to tackle that one.
Yeah, sure. This is Ryan. Answer 3 letters, yes. Do you want people to Google +1 your landing page, or do you want people to contact you or fill out their information? You can't have conflicting or multiple call to actions, and all those social sharing icons are all different colors to slow your page down. There's zero benefit to them. After someone say signs up for a webinar, that's a good time to say, like, hey, why don't you email this to the rest of your team? Screw all those other channels. Email's good. Email's very personal, and make it really easy for people to email after they sign up for something. So if they're signing up for a webinar or they just got a piece of content, that you can get them to share with other people there. Get rid of all those social sharing icons on your landing page now, and on your e-commerce product pages now.
Yep, I can get behind that as well. Just also wanted to point out, especially when it comes to PPC, having a really clean call to action is important because you have the call to action in your ad. You want it to match what people are seeing on your landing page. So you're really driving home what you want them to do.
Great. Those are both really great answers, guys. So then finally, just one last question. I know we're getting to the end of this here. How do you find the balance between an engaging image and one that is too distracting? Erin, I know you talked a lot about this with the travel landing page, and I'm sure, Ryan, you have some actionable items, so go ahead.
I can start with this one. I think, look, the best way to figure out how people react to your images and to figure out if it is distracting or appealing is to test it. And I think a lot of times we tend to be the victims of our own kind of obsessions, right? So I'll make like a little tiny tweak to a page and then expect there to be this like big result. And any results I see afterwards, I want to attribute to that teeny little change. Probably not worth it. I say when it comes to testing your landing pages, particularly when it comes to images, like go nuts. Really try like vastly different images to see what works well. Bring in your friends. It doesn't have to be like call to actions with your actual audience. Bring in your friends, your coworkers, other people. Try and get a sense from them what they think works and what they respond to. Another thing is, whatever you do when it comes to landing pages, steer clear of those stock images. They never work. Everyone knows that they're stock images nowadays. I see the same lady on like half the websites I go to, and it's always this like hot blonde lady in a business suit with a little like microphone coming out of her mouth. I know that's a stock image, like everybody is over that. Make the images relatable to the audience. If you're working with a particular, people of a particular ethnicity, make sure that the images are of people of that ethnicity. If you have a site that's, if you have landing pages that are different per country, make sure that people featured in those images are from that country. Like there's a lot of tweaks you can make to images to make them resonate more with the people who are looking at them.
Yeah, so the word I'm looking for is compelling. Is the image compelling? Is it interesting? Would I click on this image? That's it. So, and also some continuity. So if a lot of people are using Facebook ads to drive people to a landing page. The image that got people to click on that Facebook ad probably should be reinforced on a landing page. So it's really easy to set up a lot of tests in Facebook and test different images to see what's compelling. So that's how you test. Because you're going to get a lot more impressions there, and you can look at click-through rate. Really, really simple. Or go to Google Display Network and go test some different imagery. But the answer is it compelling and is it persuasive? That's it. Tends to avoid using humans. Unless it's like a real customer of yours and they look a little motley, they can't be too attractive. So you could use real people and reference the real person if you can blend in as a testimonial so people can relate to it. If it's someone like them, people do things, they do actions of people like them. But in general, avoid a lot of imagery with humans in it. But just go make it compelling. Find a good shot. So on that Cisco example, I'm like, go show a picture of it in the box. Go show a real image. I used to have an e-commerce business in the 2000s, and it's really funny. So even like, say, selling wireless networking equipment, if you show the picture, like the manufacturer's photo, the beautiful photos of it, it didn't really convert that well. When you took like a picture with like basically a camera phone, a crappy picture, but it showed the thing in a box, then the conversion rate went up to the roof because it answered the question like, hey, does this person really have it? Am I going to get it? They had an expectation of what they were getting. So like just the picture of the item in the box was something very compelling for eBay in the 2000s when people were afraid to shop online. So an imagery, is it compelling? Is it persuasive? And also feel free to put call to actions on your image, on your imagery. People look at imagery. You can do the ghost button, you can do the regular button, but have some form of call to action on the image. And also feel free to put just a giant play button on the image. Just put a giant play button over the image, and that could be a way to play the video. The image can have nothing to do with it. Just if you add a giant play button on anything, people like to click those damn play buttons. So you can use that play button to then play an explainer video or move people to the next step of the funnel.
Awesome. So yeah, just one final thing that we had was I had a question about, what do we do if our page shouldn't get audited? So this is a live landing page series. We will have a session in June and July, so you can feel free to attend those sessions. There will also be some follow-up emails from BounceExchange and WordStream post-webinar that will give you some actionable items to address on your landing page that you can take advantage of, within 60 seconds or less. So thank you everybody for attending. This does conclude our webinar. As long as you don't have any other questions, I wanted to thank Erin and Ryan for all their time today. Gosh, you guys are just experts, and we loved your opinions, so thank you so much for sharing it with everybody.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
Thanks for helping us. This was a lot of fun.
As a final thing, before you go back to work in your emails, go to WordStream.com, sign up for a demo. Go to BounceExchange.com, sign up for a demo. So before you get back to work, go do that right now. And if you do that, you have a lot harder chance of being picked in the future. Just kidding, but we'll give you other tips to get picked. Just keep submitting. If you include information about the minds of the visitors on your landing page, so include some comments. So the more information we have, the more likely we are to pick you. That's really important. But going back to what I previously said, go to WordStream.com, sign up for a demo. Go to BounceExchange.com, sign up for a demo. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much. I see some people are making actionable items change on their landing page right now, so that's great. So love it. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and thanks for attending. Hopefully see you in June. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.